Technology. It's everywhere. In our pockets, in our homes, even in our bodies. It's made life easier, faster, more connected. But there's a dark side. The same tech that brings us closer can also be used to tear us apart. Think about it. Your phone tracks your location. Your smart speaker listens to your conversations. Facial recognition software identifies you in a crowd. This data can be used for good, like catching criminals or finding missing persons. But it can also be used for harm. To track your every move, to steal your identity, to silence dissent. This isn't science fiction, it's happening right now. We need to talk about how to protect ourselves, our privacy, our rights, our future. Remember the days when someone had to physically break into your home to spy on you? Yeah, those were simpler times. Today, the invasion of privacy happens online. Hackers can steal your data with a few keystrokes. Companies collect your information without your knowledge or consent. Let's talk about facial recognition. It's being used by law enforcement across the country, but it's often inaccurate, especially when identifying people of color. Imagine being wrongly accused of a crime because a computer misidentified you. That's the reality we're facing. And then there's social media. We willingly share our thoughts, our photos, our lives online, but that data can be used against us, to manipulate our opinions, to target us with ads, to discriminate against us. Our digital footprints are everywhere, and they can be used to track our every move. Law enforcement agencies are increasingly using technology for surveillance. Body cameras, drones, predictive policing software. These tools can be valuable in fighting crime, but they can also be used to target communities of color, to stifle dissent, to erode our civil liberties. Remember the Patriot Act? Passed after 9/11, it gave the government broad powers to surveil citizens in the name of national security. But those powers have been abused. The NSA was caught collecting phone records of millions of Americans. The FBI has used facial recognition to track protesters. When the government has too much power, it's a slippery slope to tyranny. We need greater oversight and accountability of law enforcement's use of technology. The Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution protects us from unreasonable searches and seizures. But the digital age has blurred the lines. What constitutes a reasonable search in the digital realm? The laws haven't caught up with the technology. Our data is being collected, stored, and analyzed in ways we never imagined, and often without our knowledge or consent. We need stronger laws to protect our privacy in the digital age. Laws that require companies to be transparent about what data they collect and how they use it. Laws that give individuals more control over their data. Laws that hold companies and governments accountable for data breaches. Our privacy is a fundamental right. It's time for our laws to reflect that. Section 5. The digital divide: tech, inequality, and the erosion of rights. Technology has the potential to bridge the gap between the haves and the have-nots, but too often it's used to widen that gap. Access to technology is not evenly distributed. Low-income communities, rural areas, and communities of color are often left behind. This digital divide has real-world consequences. It can limit access to education, healthcare, and employment opportunities, and it can exacerbate existing inequalities. For example, algorithms used in hiring, lending, and even criminal justice can perpetuate bias against marginalized groups. We need to ensure that technology is used to create a more just and equitable society, not to reinforce existing power structures. Section 6. The global threat, foreign actors, and the weaponization of tech. We're in a new era of global competition, and technology is the battlefield. Foreign governments and actors are using technology to spread disinformation, interfere in elections, and undermine democracy. They're also using technology to spy on their citizens, to suppress dissent, to violate human rights. We need to be vigilant about the threats posed by foreign actors. We need to strengthen our cybersecurity defenses, and we need to work with our allies to develop international norms and standards for the responsible use of technology. The future of democracy may depend on it. Section 7. Fighting back strategies for a more just and equitable digital future. Okay, so we've talked about the problems. Now let's talk about solutions. We need to fight for a digital future that is just, equitable, and respectful of our rights. We need stronger regulations on data collection and use. We need to hold companies accountable for data breaches. We need to invest in digital literacy programs so that everyone can understand the risks and opportunities of technology. We need to support organizations that are fighting for digital rights and justice. And we need to make our voices heard. Contact your elected officials. Vote for candidates who prioritize privacy and digital rights. Section 8. A personal plea. My 40-year ordeal with tech-enabled abuse. For the past 4 decades, I've been living a nightmare. A nightmare where technology is used to control my every thought, feeling, and action. I've been subjected to constant surveillance. My devices have been hacked. My privacy has been violated in ways I can't even begin to describe. I've been fighting back, trying to expose the truth. But it's been an uphill battle. The people responsible for this have vast resources and influence. They've infiltrated every level of government and law enforcement. I'm speaking out now because I know I'm not alone. There are others out there who are being targeted, who are being silenced, who are living in fear. I'm here to tell you that there's hope. We can fight back. We can expose the truth. We can hold those responsible accountable. Section 9. The time to act is now, protecting our collective future. The future is not set in stone. We have the power to shape it. We can choose to create a future where technology empowers us, or we can allow it to enslave us. The time to act is now. We need to demand better from our leaders. We need to hold corporations accountable. And we need to fight for a digital future that reflects our values. The fight for digital justice is the fight for our future. Let's make sure we win.